Ever feel like you're trying to put together a puzzle, but maybe the pieces are just scattered everywhere? You're trying to feel good about it all.
Yeah, it's like trying to find clarity in chaos sometimes.
Exactly. And that's kind of the vibe we got from Marty and Chris's recent discussion. That's what we're really digging into today.
Right. We've looked at their conversation, especially that video they did, Marty and Chris, from stuck to unstoppable.
Okay.
And the plan here is basically to pull out the key bits, how they tackled community, getting their message across, personal growth, all that stuff.
Like a roadmap to their main ideas.
Pretty much a shortcut. So you don't get overwhelmed, but still get the important takeaways.
Okay, so jumping in. The first thing that really hit me was how much they focused on community. Right off the bat.
Oh, totally. It wasn't just them talking. It felt like they were building something.
Yeah.
They started with happy birthdays, but also calls for prayers, like real support.
Right, acknowledging the personal stuff.
Exactly. It creates this supportive feeling from the get-go. Makes it feel like a group that genuinely cares.
And not just the good stuff either. They talked about friends with serious health issues, like cancer.
Yeah, and emphasizing that collective support, the prayers. It shows where they place value, right?
Yeah.
And sticking together when things get tough.
It suggests they really believe in that unity, that shared strength.
Definitely. It's about actively being there for each other. That seemed crucial.
And it sounds like they also try to nip any problems in the bud, mentioning clearing up misunderstandings.
Yeah, which is smart, being proactive. It shows they want to keep things positive and avoid, like, small conflicts blowing up. Good communication within the group.
Okay, so that leads perfectly into how they communicate. They seemed really careful about it.
Very intentional, especially with audience questions. They talked about needing to really understand the information first.
Like with Ash's insights, they mentioned that specifically.
Right. Not just reacting, but actually interpreting and making sure they've got it right before they speak on it. Accuracy seems key.
And then there was that warning about online information.
Oh, yeah. That was a big one. Basically, don't just believe everything you scroll past.
Which is, let's be honest, super relevant.
Totally. They were like, wait for the official word, listen to the source, in their case, Ash, directly. Verify things.
Don't just run with the first thing you hear. Makes sense.
And they also hinted that more info was coming, so
yeah,
patience was needed.
Yeah, the full picture isn't always immediate. It takes time to unfold sometimes.
Exactly. Communication isn't always a one-and-done thing. It's a process.
Okay, let's shift gears a little. They also got into personal growth, right? And like learning from the past.
Yeah, there was some reflection there. That anecdote about cryptocurrency was interesting.
Oh, the regret about not investing. Yeah.
Just as an example of like how sometimes being hesitant about new stuff means you miss out. It's a nudge to be a bit more open, maybe.
Totally relatable. But it wasn't just about their journey, was it? It felt like they wanted to lift others up too.
Yeah, that really came through. This drive to not just improve themselves, but help the whole community move forward, a kind of collective responsibility.
Even acknowledging the messy stuff, like theft or legal issues.
Right. They didn't shy away from challenges. Emphasizing transparency, dealing with it together. That builds trust,
Which connects to that idea of loyalty, sticking together. That felt like a core message.
Absolutely. Loyalty to each other, belief in themselves, belief in the community. They framed it as essential for growth.
And they contrasted that with businesses just focused on profit.
Yeah, they seemed critical of that model. They praised an organization they felt was genuinely trying to help people improve lives. It points to their values, I think. Connection over just cash.
So success means more than just the bottom line for them. It's about impact.
It seems that way. And they also mentioned how small things matter. Little acts of kindness.
Right. That you don't need grand gestures to make a difference.
Exactly. And tied into that was the idea that negativity really holds you back. Got to cultivate positivity for growth.
Okay, that brings us to that really striking point about needing protection from negative influences. The devil metaphor.
Yeah, that was powerful phrasing. It really underlines how damaging they think negativity or misinformation can be. You need to actively shield yourself.
Be selective about what you let in mentally.
Pretty much. Choose your influences carefully. Be cautious about the information you consume.
And that leads to needing a whole new mindset.
Exactly. They said you need a new way of thinking to actually move forward, to break old habits or patterns. You can't grow if you're stuck in the same old headspace.
And the hopeful part was that this growth is possible no matter what's going on around you.
Right. It's an internal shift, ultimately.
Okay, thinking about the business side they touched on, Guidance was a big thing, getting the right guidance.
Crucial point.
Yeah.
Not just any advice, but credible advice. They warned against misleading stuff, especially online. You need solid ground for decisions.
And it felt like they had real conviction in their own path, even if others disagreed.
Yeah, they seemed focused on their vision, not getting sidetracked by lawsuits or arguments. Their success comes from their plan, is the idea.
They even mentioned planning to debunk some claims from Ash.
Addressing what they see as misleading head on, but still focusing on their own goals, not just reacting.
Interesting dynamic there. And they also brought up a practical challenge. Translations.
Oh, right. The worry that the original message might get twisted when it's translated. That's a real issue for any global community, isn't it?
Definitely. Ensuring everyone's getting the same accurate information is tough.
It highlights the complexity of clear communication across languages.
So wrapping it all up, the final push seemed to be about staying positive and keeping those lines of communication open.
Yeah, fostering that positive vibe, being transparent. They praised their CEO for being practical and beneficial to the community.
And there's gratitude too, right, for the support they get.
Definitely. And reassuring people that contributions matter, that they go to a good cause. It circles back to that community trust.
Answering questions, trying to improve how they communicate, even with the translation challenges. It all ties together.
It really does.
So for you listening,
Yeah.
what's the big takeaway here? I mean, it feels like Marty and Chris are mapping out how to navigate connection, information, and growth by, well, trying to stay positive, think clearly, and build real bonds.
That sums it up well.
Yeah.
It's about critical thinking with info, finding strength in community, and really adopting that growth mindset. These are like tools you can use anywhere, really.
Absolutely. Okay, so here's something to chew on until next time. Thinking about your own world, maybe the information you deal with, how can you use some of these ideas from Marty and Chris? Like, how do you make sure you're leaning on credible sources and keeping yourself pointed in a positive direction? Something to mull over. So, what is it that sparks that really intense loyalty? You know, that feeling people get, that profound connection to a leader, or maybe an idea.
Yeah, what makes someone just agree, but really embrace it, champion a vision?
Exactly. And that's really the core of what we're digging into today.
I've got a pretty interesting window into this, actually. We're looking at excerpts from a webinar Q&A featuring Ash Mufare.
Right.
And what's great about these sources is they feel quite raw.
Yeah.
You know, they're direct interactions, real thoughts and feelings coming straight from Mr. Mufare and the people on the webinar.
Yeah, unvarnished. So look, our goal here today, it isn't really to get bogged down in the weeds of like a specific product or platform. Instead, we want to understand the fundamental values, right? The motivations that seem to be driving this community using their own words.
Makes sense.
Okay, so where do we start? Well, the first thing that just jumps right out is this huge amount of admiration and gratitude towards Ash Mufare.
It really does. And what's fascinating right off the bat is the intensity you hear. Like one person mentioned joining way back in 2019.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they said it was specifically because they felt Mr. Mufare's approach was so heartfelt, so honest.
That tells you a lot, doesn't it, about the initial pull? It wasn't just the concept, maybe, but how he presented it.
Precisely. The delivery, the person.
And it definitely seems to go beyond just, you know, standard respect. We hear him called a visionary genius. There's a real warmth there.
Yeah, you feel it in the comments. People saying how grateful they are just to be part of it all, even like complimenting his appearance, his strength.
It paints a picture sort of a leader who connects with people pretty personally, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And if you think about community building, that personal connection, well, it could be everything, right? It suggests the belief in the vision is kind of tied up with belief in the person. And even that mention of positive health updates someone shared, that's telling too. It hints at a supportive vibe that's, you know, broader than just business.
It really does sound like, well, a pretty tight-knit group.
Okay, so moving on a bit from just admiration for the egg himself. We see this support extending to the actual platform, its development, even when they acknowledge there have been bumps in the road.
Yes, and it's quite striking. You see people expressing gratitude, but also like genuine concern for someone else on the call having tech issues.
Ah, interesting detail.
It really underscores that sense of community, you know, mutual support. And then you had David Dakraszewski sharing a message of love and support from another member, Pat Parent.
Little things like that speak volumes, don't they, about how connected they feel.
They really do.
And when David talks about why he joined initially, He says it wasn't about features, but about listening to Ash's, quote, heart and intentions.
That's a really powerful point. It suggests the underlying principles, the leader's character. Maybe that was the main driver for him getting involved.
Yeah, it does raise that interesting question, what really fuels loyalty? Is it just the what, the product, or is it also the how and the who? Exactly. And the fact that they specifically call out Mr. Mufari's dignity and respect when he communicates about platform stuff, that suggests his leadership style is crucial for keeping that trust.
Seems that way. And this trust, it feels deeply linked to that idea they keep mentioning, the appreciation for the big picture, the commitment to humanity. We hear that phrase a lot. So based on these snippets, what do you think is driving that commitment? Is it like a specific problem they see, or?
What was fascinating is how one participant describes it. They felt a, quote, divine direction in Mr. Mufari's mission right from the start.
Wow, divine direction. That's strong stuff. It implies this is more than just a regular business for them. It's got some higher purpose.
It certainly suggests that. And interestingly, they don't seem to shy away from talking about the difficulties they've faced.
Right, they acknowledge the challenges.
Yeah, and acknowledging those setbacks, it almost seems to have strengthened their belief in Mr. Mufari's resilience, his determination.
Like those hurdles became proof of his commitment in a way.
Exactly. Proof of the concept, proof of the leader. And when someone expresses gratitude on behalf of a whole community, that really underlines the collective nature of it all.
It's not just individuals admiring him.
No, it's a shared belief,
a
shared conviction in the vision. And then that request, asking Mr. Mufara to think about those who want to follow him into the next chapter.
Yeah, that really stood out.
It emphasizes just how much impact they believe he's having and will continue to have. It speaks to a really long-term view, almost a shared destiny, perhaps.
It really does. Now, we also see moments where people are reflecting on his insights, and that theme of trust, it just comes up again powerfully. Even that little bit at the start of one segment where they're figuring out who speaks next. Okay, it's a small detail, but it does suggest a bit of organization, a collaborative feel in the webinar itself.
No, that's a good point. It shows structure, engagement among the participants. And then when the participant expresses, sheer amazement at Mr. Mufari's presentation, that just highlights his communication skills again, the power his ideas seem to have for them.
And when people flat out say they trust his vision, they're committed to following his lead. I mean, that's about as clear an indicator as you can get.
Totally. It's not passive agreement. It's an active choice, aligning themselves with whatever he's doing.
It links back to that shared journey idea, doesn't it? The talk about his long-term goals, his determination to steer the group.
Yes, it reinforces that image. He's the leader, providing direction, fostering that collective purpose.
Yeah.
Like he's steering the ship, as you said earlier.
Yeah, exactly. Steering the ship towards that common goal. Then things take a very personal turn with one story about faith and what they call divine intervention.
Ah, yes. This segment gives a very different angle, a personal motivation. The speaker talks about an unexpected recovery and contrasts human limits with what they see as divine power. It's a personal story, but it shows how significant faith is for, well, at least some people in this community.
And they're explicit about it, too, saying God needs to be at the center of their business efforts, otherwise it just wouldn't work for them.
It brings in this really interesting spiritual dimension to their professional motivation.
Definitely.
And what's also fascinating is how they connect that faith to joining ONPASSIVE. They mention the advanced tech and leadership expertise as key reasons.
So it's a blend, then. Spiritual conviction and practical business reasons.
It appears so, a mix of both.
Yeah.
And then they encourage others to think about joining, stressing it's open to everyone, which kind of broadens the potential appeal.
You mentioned advanced technology there. We're not getting into specifics, obviously, but what kind of tech focus do you think might be implied?
That's a good question. It probably points towards, cutting edge stuff, innovation in whatever field they're in. Could be anything from software to AI, potentially.
Right. Okay, shifting gears again slightly. We hear from Mr. Mufar himself, talking about putting customers first, before just team building, especially in network marketing.
Yeah, this is interesting. Maybe a bit counterintuitive for some in that world.
Could be.
He acknowledges network marketing can work, but he really stresses that having real happy customers has to be the main thing.
His logic being that a customer is valuable on their own, and then maybe they become part of the team?
Exactly. It makes a lot of sense if you're thinking about building something sustainable,
Hmm.
something with real value.
Yeah.
It kind of flips that old pyramid idea
Mm.
where recruitment is sometimes everything.
Mm-hmm. He seems to be saying genuine value for the end user. That's the foundation.
And he puts it very personally, too,
Yeah.
talking about his own realization,
Mm-hmm.
about wanting to genuinely help people be a real partner.
It circles back to that heartfelt comment from earlier, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
And he wraps it up by talking about needing to, quote, touch people's souls, give them real hope, real solutions. It's a very human-centric view of business.
Which then kind of flows into the next bit about understanding consumer psychology and the role of AI.
Right, this part feels more strategic, more forward-looking, highlighting that need for flexibility in marketing and how crucial it is to just get what makes consumers tick.
Absolutely critical for any venture, really.
Totally. You can have the best widget in the world, but if you don't understand why someone would want
You're pushing water uphill.
it.
And then bringing in Mark Cuban's quote about AI mastery leading to huge wealth, that throws a big future element into the mix.
Yeah, AI mastery. What does that even mean in this context?
Good question.
Could be, using AI for super personalized customer stuff, making operations smoother, maybe even creating totally new AI-powered services.
Yeah, that's the possibilities.
And what's interesting is how they talk about AI not just as one thing, but like a whole toolbox, different AIs for different jobs.
Right.
And that idea that the AI race isn't just one competition, it's more like a diverse journey. That's a key takeaway. Suggests a broader perspective on tech progress.
It's about finding your niche, using the tech in a way that fits your goals. Okay, so finally, we loop back to Mr. Mufora emphasizing this unwavering belief in their mission, combined with collective effort and integrity.
Yeah, this really brings it all together back to those core values that seem to hold this community together. His strong commitment to the mission, the whole ideology of doing good. It seems like a really powerful anchor for them.
Especially when things get tough, you imagine.
Absolutely. And that reassurance he gives, that they'll stay the course no matter what, that speaks to a really deep conviction. It's about the long game, having a clear purpose.
It's not just hoping for the best.
No, exactly. He encourages being strategic, calculated, persistence over luck. That adds a practical edge to the belief. And when he says true character will eventually show itself, focusing on inner goodness.
That reinforces the ethical side again.
Right. And he finishes really strong, doesn't he? Confidently saying they will reach their goals, dismissing any doubts. It's a powerful message of self-belief and belief in the group.
So yeah, wrapping up this deep dive, these themes just keep popping up, interwoven. The strong central vision, resilience, community support, faith for some, customer focus, and this awareness of technology's power.
Definitely leaves you with something to think about, doesn't it? Like, what are the core values driving the communities you're involved in? And how much does a strong shared vision really affect how people act together?
It's worth pondering that interplay between individual belief and a shared purpose.
Yeah.
It really makes you consider those dynamics, leadership, community building,
Yeah.
and how compelling vision pulls people together. And maybe prompts us to think more about how tech keeps shaping our goals and the communities we build around them.
Yeah, the idea is to centralize
Yeah.
all those essential financial functions. Managing earnings, handling withdrawals,
All in one place.
all in one place, all secure, all connected to your OMail login.
Now let's talk about privacy. I
Okay.
think it's a big concern for everyone these days.
Absolutely.
What kind of assurances are there with this system?
Well, ONPASSIVE from the get-go has really emphasized user data privacy.
Good.
Their AI actually plays a role in encrypting everything.
Okay.
And they've been very clear that user data is not shared with any third parties.
That's reassuring.
And then on top of that, you've got O-Verify, which is their Know Your Customer system, or OKYC.
Right.
And that can really enhance identity verification, which helps prevent fraud and further secures user accounts.
So it really sounds like this whole OMail and password setup is the key that unlocks this entire AI-driven world.
It is, it's more than just a login.
Right.
It's like your passport to this unified AI ecosystem that has the potential to transform how we communicate, how we workshop, learn, and manage our money.
All within this secure framework.
All within this secure framework, exactly.
It's pretty amazing to see how a single secure entry point can offer access to so much.
It is.
It really makes you think about how this kind of streamlined access might change our everyday interactions with all things digital.
That's a great point, and it's something I think everyone listening should consider.
Hmm.
How would having this single secure login that opens the door to all these different AI-powered services,
Right.
how would that simplify and maybe even enhance your own digital life?
That is a fantastic question and definitely something for everyone to think about.
Yeah,
Well, thank you so much for this deep dive.
it was my pleasure.
We'll catch you next time.
Sounds good.
My little brother, my younger brother, my favorite brother out of these two bums. Ash Mafar, I love you, brother. The floor is yours, and thanks for coming, my man.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I hope that you're doing great. Something popped up. I really was enjoying the conversation I'm in, but I made a commitment. I needed to come and show up here. So it's all good. It's lots of progress and positivity. So I want to make sure I don't bring everything, in details, lots of mechanics. But I'm going to do my best to recap or summarize where we are here and the next phase. So we talked about a few things, perhaps moving forward and how the business is going to function. But before we get to that, I really have to address one of my biggest weaknesses, that I don't have enough time to respond to all the beautiful messages that you sent me on my birthday just passed. I'm officially grown up now, still growing, and I received lots of warm, beautiful, sincere messages, videos, things by mail. I want to thank you. All, really made me smile, and I'm grateful forever. I really want to give back to as many of you as possible, because uh, we have a relationship that goes beyond business. Yes, business is a big part of our relationship, but we come to know each other at a personal level too, and it's an honor too. Uh, I really wish I could do the same to you. But I'm going to say it here publicly. Happy birthday to you if it passed this 2024, even from January. And if it's still coming until December, happy birthday to you. I wish you the very best health, love, success, dinero, if you like that, money, moolah, uh, and to be inspired as we are. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thanks a million. And I can't, say enough words to show how grateful I am. I'm thankful for you. It's literally, you're like a part of my family. I feel the same. So now we want to go back to fill you in where we are today. Simply, we're in a better position that we were, say, for the last several months today. We're at the best point as of now. And without lots of mechanics, but I don't want to speak too soon, and I don't want you to exaggerate with the following statement. As of now, we're working tirelessly around the clock to reopen the business as we were, and then communicate to you about the next phase. There's no secret. And we'll explain to you some of the necessary things that you should know, like what happened. Like, we owe you an explanation to what brought us to this situation. But this is not our priority. Our priority is to recover the business and move on to the next phase successfully without failure. As of now, my confidence level is 3,000% out of 100. And I mean to inflate it because I'm beyond confident that we will succeed. We're going to overcome this hurdle and we are going to be fine. Realistically, the more time we have, the less bugs and issues we will experience with you. If we're going to compromise that, so let me give you two scenarios. We can rush in and open as of next week. Okay? So myself, I'm having a live link as of Sunday evening. So our really talented team did two things so far. One is for me, created a platform that I can oversee every dot of the business in real time in any location around the clock without having to ask back and forth or miscommunication or gaps between departments and all of that. I have one exclusive link or facility where I'm able to track that. It's not 100% live, but this is where we're headed. So we have been preparing that. I believe within days I should be able to do that. So I will be more accurate, and I don't mind to share with you even more details when it comes to that, like mechanics. So this is really good news. This is a better way to manage and say control the progress. The second thing is we have another private link as of Sunday evening will allow us to monitor all the process in details anytime from any department, and then post that and past that, we will be more accurate, we will be more informed, because we will see the actual picture live, like API for those who know. I will be able to access that and real examples. So I would say, okay, well, this is not functioning, this is working, this is good. So let me give you the two scenarios. From Sunday, about a week, we can go live. Okay. If we go live after 7 days, there potential we are not going to find things perfected, but you'll be able to log in, find your data, you're in the right place, you have your team, all of that. I'm in favor of that scenario. It will give you the impression, okay, so ONPASSIVE is not gone, is not going away, it's coming back, and it will give you a sense of our tenacity, how aggressive we are in order to fight to get it, and then we'll talk about the journey later, not now. So this is one scenario. Now give us 8 days, we'll come back with lesser problems or breakage. 9 days, better.